starting.
Yeah. So yeah, I went to 404 last night, and it was pretty awesome. Um, so before I get into that, I'll introduce myself again. This is Casey. You can hit me up at Casey is Forever on Twitter, and with my homeboy, homeboy coach.
Yeah, yeah, you just rolled right into that one. But yeah, I'll make sure to have all the Twitter, social media stuff in the description so y'all can check that out. Yeah, but 404 before Casey really gets started is a an event that opened up. I want to say what, a year and a half, 2 years ago. Um,
uh,
and so it hadn't been there long considering Georgia's fighting game history, but they've opened up a shop and they've become like the hangout spot. So they've differentiated themselves from just being a tournament spot. So it's a pretty cool spot. But I'm gonna let you tell the folks about your adventure there.
yeah. It was basically from me driving from McDonough, Georgia to Macon, that's an hour. So I figured if I can make it to Macon, I could probably make it to near Duluth, Georgia. It's going to that area.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another hour. So I was like, I'll do it. It was raining, but I made it and got there. It was really nice. Um, the lighting was really very very club-esque, but not too like club-esque, if you get my drift. Um, but and I met Greg. That was pretty cool. He was very friendly. You know, he was telling me about how everything about 4-4 and how much casuals they get in, how they have tournaments on each which day they are available for tournaments and stuff what and stuff not whatnot. So it was pretty cool. I got the chance to like sit down and just I like the setup. So like on each side, they'll have like so when you walk in on the right, there's Greg and his and the desk and everything is there, and if you once you walk like in the middle, there's a couple setups, a desk, chair, table setups for setups, kind of like a catering type style in the middle.
Yeah.
So then, but on the side is pretty cool, and I really didn't notice this till I went to play casuals. You have your setups and you have TVs right there on on the wall. You have like one setup, head-to-head setups, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
and I and then there's like some couches facing these head-to-head setups, so you can like actually sit down and relax. I was actually mind blown by that little thing, like couches, just this, and it's not like it's too luxury couch to a point where it's like you get tired or you have to really really keep it up, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were like little small couch, outdoor. I get not outdoor couches, but like noticeable and but yet like comfortable to sit down, and that was so fantastic. And I was like, I almost wanted to just chill right there and not play couches because I took a long ride. But yeah, I was really happy to finally play casuals offline in DBFZ. I haven't played offline DBFZ since maybe like season two before I moved to California. The
Okay.
beginning of season two, yeah. So I played a couple of people who played Shiro. Shout out to him. Hope I didn't butcher his name. I played, I think, Johnny. He's a pretty cool guy. Plays Napa, and I also played Jazz Rat before I left. Jazz Rat was like, "Yo, let's get a 2 out of 3." He smoked me.
Yeah, I mean the man's been putting in the work.
Yeah, but I was happy I played Jazz because he's like the only 17 I've ever seen that doesn't do like recas and neutral. So that was kind of like I was kind of puzzled by that. So that caught me off guard. But yeah, he's really phenomenal player. I really like. I always thought he was really good too. Even in Marvel where he played like his Wolverine team and stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, so yeah, the Tekken Boys was there in full effect, and that's another thing that made me feel like at home. So like, because when I used to stay in California for the little bit I did last year,
Mm-hmm.
I got to experience the Oakland scene a little bit, and I was able to visit the esports arena,
Okay.
and I spoke to a couple of people there. I even spoke to Demindo. Everybody was very welcoming, and they're pretty hyped. They got a. I went there on like tournament day. I was kind of late, so I didn't get a chance to enter, but I was able to like see the hypeness and where it was at, and there was something where it was like there was missing, and I was like, I don't know what it is. Like everything's here. you have like the games, you set up nice atmosphere, huge atmosphere. Atmosphere is very big there, and I was like, but there's something missing. And then when I was hearing 4-4, that loud, could almost break every mirror in Georgia noise, screaming, Patekin was there at 404, and that made me feel back at home. So shout outs to 404 for taking care of our players, man. Shout outs to Greg.
Yeah, yeah. I've met Greg myself the one time I went for the Sam Show tournament, and yeah, he definitely he likes to try to integrate within the scene. He's not being abrasive toward it, and you kind of see the big payoff there, where a lot of people just like going there just to go, not even just for a tournament. And that's the kind
Yeah.
of thing he's trying to building up, which is something that's unique here because everywhere else, with the exception of kind of what's going on in Middle Georgia right now, but I'll put that aside because it's not Atlanta.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, everywhere else is you go for tournament. You might hang out after, but for 404, if you just like, I feel like pressing some buttons in tech, and I feel like listening to Pork Chop yell or whatever, you just roll on in there. You pay whatever daily fee or something, and you just get to sit down and play games with people, and
Yep.
just that's to me that's something that's unique because not a lot of people have access to a facility like that where they can keep it open like that and have it open so many days. So like people can go in there to hang out, and that's how you
Hmm.
really grow the community to get people close together. So that's something I really appreciate, and I think there's a ton of potential in it.
Oh, it's huge potential, man. Like before 404, we had Georgia Tech, right? We would go to a
Yeah,
lot, and I kind of like started something with Guilty Gear where it was kind of like an arcade style setup, and we would have like one setup for Guilty Gear. It was kind of harsh, but I kind of made it so like people can learn because even though like a lot of people were serious with the games that they were playing at Georgia Tech, I still wanted to make it sure we had like an atmosphere where we can learn and and have fun, most importantly. And that's one thing that I like about 404 that they keep with them. It's the fact that like there's like no tension there whatsoever. Like I'm pretty sure there's like probably a little bit when you're playing a tournament there, but like
yeah,
even then you're like the atmosphere has been built up with no tension, and I think that's his and no stress. I think that's his goal is like to not stress because like competitive gaming is very like mentally exhausting. It can
okay,
really get you down.
yeah, definitely, definitely. So like, I feel like he's gotten kind of the best of both worlds there, where you can go there to chill, but when you need to hit that high level grind, it's there too. So I think
Yeah.
he's managed to get a good mix there. And then I guess the other thing that you kind of pointed out is like you can just go there and play games, and I've been seeing like a lot of people try to use that venue and what he does there to kind of get people playing their game. Like I saw someone trying to get people out there playing Fantasy Strike. She put out a tweet, it's like, "Hey, I'm trying to get people to come play this game. I love this game. I want to play it offline." And Greg's like, "Yo, come on down." And
Hmm.
so people are there trying to build up scenes. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see some more of that, in the future.
Yeah, if anybody wants to come promote their game, I'm pretty sure Greg is more than happy. He'll be able to help you out with that. Um, yeah, man. Like I think the best part of it about being like stress free is the fact that you get to like chat and learn more about like yourself and in the game and the players within the game, and just in general, just learn, just have fun learning. Cause like this, it's funny enough, I went to Grinnell Pro and I was able to watch my homeboy Vinny tear it up in the brackets with Matera and Grand Blue, and then he made it to winners finals. He went through
Beat Scrot, right?
Fame, yeah, and then he beat Scrot in winners finals.
Yeah.
And Scrot ran it back and on Vinny in grand finals, and Vinny gets everybody doesn't like Vinny's one of those players that doesn't like to lose. Period. Like
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen him.
and yeah, so you don't really want to be around him, or he keeps his distance. So that I think if with 4-4 being in the picture, that would help players like like Vinny, so that way it will be like less stressful and less like that type of mindset will kind of like I don't want to say will away because the will to win is strong, but just like that whole recluse uh
Yeah.
of not talking to players after you lose, like lose. Like, it's okay to not talk to players after you lose, like, right away, but, like, maybe, like, after 30, 45, maybe, like, 30, 45 minutes, you might want to, like, all right, man, I'll cool it off. I'm good. Whatever happened, happened. Let's talk.
Vinny is a person. Yeah, you know he's one person who he's very transparent about what he thinks about anything, and he puts himself on the line when he goes out there in the tournament. So that's how he is. And like if you play him in casuals and beat him, he's not gonna act like that, obviously.
Yeah.
So yeah, like if you put him in a situation 4-4, yeah, he might be like, okay, I lost. Let's talk about this. But yeah, when he's in the tournament, his emotions are flaring. That's his personality. I think that
Yeah.
intensity is what gets him as far as he goes.
Yeah, because when we're before 4-4, remember I said we were playing at Georgia Tech, and we were all playing Guilty Gear. It was so tense. Of course, like we're still friends at the end of the day. We're still joking later on, but like
Yeah,
the intensity was high, and I think that made us that did make us better, but it kind of like I guess clouded our judgment on like how to see certain things, certain ways, and just overall, just fighting games, not just Guilty Gear, but just fighting games that kind of like didn't hurt us, but just kind of like made it like hard to communicate on some issues sometimes, and then like some people like like I said, and it's not just Vinny. I've like been like a recluse sometimes, and like other
yeah.
players, new young players, they like get in the scene and like screw this, and I'm so frustrated.
Why am I
So like
losing?
yeah, like 4-4, like I felt like all that like goes away when you're there. I'm pretty sure you're gonna have your salty people, no problem. Like that's gonna be a thing, but yeah, that goal of 4-4 just being stress free and like casuals and just in like tournaments and stuff. It's just that's a dream come true for like a fighting game community,
I agree.
especially here in Georgia.
Yeah. And it's not like we're lacking for options too.
No, no.
So like talking about all that made me think of another situation that's currently going on in the state where you got people leveling up, and it's a Casa de Sam show. And I don't know if you've seen this, but
Hmm.
Painbot has been bringing people over to his homestead, and he's been grinding out these sets week after week, and then trying to get Georgia like the highest level possible. So like at the beginning, he would do first to tens with everybody there, so they would be there playing for hours. And now he's kind of consolidated as of last week into a round robin of first to fives with a 8-man bracket limit. And he actually
Hmm.
got Maturino involved, so when people go in there and do all the free stuff, you can win some prize money just for going up to his house. But yeah, he has been like he and Bates have been like the huge advocates of the game, and it's
Hmm.
been showing because like people go over there. Like you got Terrence who you everyone knows is like the greatest Chun Li, and he has really good fundamentals, but he didn't quite know the Sam Show game yet. So now he's over there grinding, and now he actually beat Painbot and Bates in tournament. So like they would
Oh, that's
have,
awesome.
yeah. So you also got a guy here in Middle Georgia called Neil. He's been going up there whenever because he stays in that area when he's not in school. So he's been going up there and he's been knocking out the sets. Grinding with Painbot, Bates, Terrence, and anyone who go up there, and you see the level of the whole like group growing to the point where like when you start mentioning this, like if I say I'm in a big Sam Show scene to a Sam Show player, they're gonna be like, "Are you from DMV or Georgia?" Because like they know those are the two spots right now.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So
That's
go ahead.
no, go ahead. I was just saying I'm happy for that. Like, cause that it starts small right there. Like
Yeah.
you need somewhere to start and in paintballs. I can tell he like really loves that game, and he's not really forcing nobody to like play, right?
Yeah, he just puts
It's
it in
also
front of
making it
them.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't like he's like he started off with like what was it like first to tens, and then he consolidated it to like 8-man round robin brackets, and then like that sort of puts some tension in it. It's pretty much letting you know like, hey, if you're playing in a tournament like at a major or something, there's that feeling. It's there, you know.
Hmm.
But at the same time, it's keeping that fun aspect towards the game that you're playing as you're being competitive. I really like that.
Yeah, it's just I guess that, and I like the concept of him just taking his scene into his own hands, so to speak. It's like
Yeah.
I want us to be good, and if you want to press buttons in this game and you want to be good, follow me.
All right.
And then if you know what you're getting into and you're willing to go through it, and you can level up because the guys have gotten pretty strong. So I'm definitely interested to see what happens in final round and other tournaments coming up.
Yeah. Speaking of other tournaments coming up, I might try to go to Combo Breaker.
Okay.
So looking to go to that. Not gonna enter the tournament. I just want to go there, like for casuals and just and just sort of hang out and see how because I haven't been in the atmosphere in a long time. So I like to hop on that, see everybody. It's gonna be my first Combo Breaker, by the way. I've never been.
Okay. Yes, I wonder how it's going to be because they're switching from the old venue. So, like whenever I tell somebody like you must go to this tournament, but when they start changing big things like the venue, I always got to put the asterisks on there because if moving to the venue might just screw it all up, right? And they be like, yo, coach said this was a great tournament. It's like like the combo breaker that I've been to at the Pheasant Run Resort was amazing, and I'm sure that the team has got everything sorted out with the new location. But asterisk, I've not been there. I don't know how it's gonna turn out. But prior history, combo breakers has been a wonderful tournament, so you should definitely check them out.
Right. Yeah, man. I love the amount of games they always have there each year, and
Yeah,
the love they show for not just the games, but like for the staff and like the players. It's like it's phenomenal. I'm like I've said, I haven't been there yet,
hmm
but just hearing about it, it's just the way their timing and everything. They schedule everything the right way. It's just really good. So I really like that.
definitely understandable. That's what I'm starting to see. Like when people say what makes a great event, it's not always because there's a lot of factors that go into it. Because you might
Right.
because the event might do everything right, but you might not like the people there, or the event might
Hmm.
screw up, but you love all the people there and you can make the best of it. But the
That's
thing
true.
the thing that always isolate me personally isolate is how much do they respect of the games overall, whether it's Street Fighter, Tekken, DBFZ, Guilty Gear, or even some of the games they have listed as side games. Do you feel like you came there and they made an event for you, not just an event for other people, and they just threw you some scraps?
Right.
And if you can feel like, I went there, I know I'm a TVC main, I've been playing this game, die hard, now me and the other 10 people going to Combo Breaker, they made that TVC tournament for us. That's our tournament. If you feel
Right.
like that, that's when I think you really come to a really good event. And when you go there, you're like, oh, I mean, I went there and I saw the Tekken guys having fun, and they happen to have a TBC setup over there. But they kept pushing us aside. They kept taking our setups because they needed monitors or whatever else. You'd be like, I'm never coming to this place again. Like they don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. Showing that love for those games should it's I don't think it should be like a thing 24/7 but just to at least let them know that you know they're not dismissed or like they're not just there like because they're paying money too, right, to go
Yeah,
to these
yeah.
events.
So they're not second class citizens. Like, yeah, you don't have to roll out the red carpet for
Yeah,
everybody. Like, you obviously have your big games, but you don't
right,
say like, since you're sitting there in the corner, we're cutting your stream time, or we're
right,
doing
right,
this, or we're doing that. Like you still give them their base amount of respect and let them know, like, hey, we want you here. We love that you come here for TVC, even if it is just you, 10 to 15 people.
yep. And sometimes, and here's the key thing too. Sometimes devs will be at some of these events, and they look at these old games, and they get inspired by the play of the old games. And so
Yeah.
that's very inspirational for the devs. So you never know, they may they make something inspired by the game, or they might just make a sequel to it. Who knows?
Anything can
Like
happen.
Marvel. I'm sorry,
Yeah, yeah, fix that cough, man.
sorry.
Yeah, I definitely feel you because one thing that stands out to me. Oh man, I hope I didn't lose this thought while I started talking. But crap, I did lose the thought, so we're gonna keep it
Sorry, man.
moving.
I mentioned Marvel, and everything went left. It always does that, man. I'm sorry.
Oh no. Okay, I just remember. The thing is, like, especially the TVC thing was like Combo Breaker, for example. Like Combo Breaker's has become known for being the vampire savior tournament of the United States because the tournament treated them well, so more and more people go every year. So it became the tournament for that game. So like when you can make a welcoming atmosphere, that's the kind of thing that happens. People go, hey, I'm going to that tournament for this specific game that's not really in main rotation, but I know
Right.
that when I go to Combo Breaker, I'm gonna get me a 200 man VSAF bracket, which is unheard of, right?
Yeah.
So that kind of thing is cool. I
I
like seeing
I
that.
think we're slowly so like Japan. If you notice, Japan has like their old games. Well, people from all around the world will still go there to travel.
Yeah, yeah,
Like for Hokuto no Ken. No, probably butchered that. Hokuto no Ken.
yeah.
For Fist of the North Star, if anybody doesn't know, that game people play. They go out to play that. Third Strike. There's the
Cooperation Cup.
cooperation cut for that. There's tons of games that
Hmm.
they do in Japan, and I feel like we are starting to do that actually with the games over here with Marvel, right?
Yeah, there's that tournament in New York that's happening, the big
Yeah,
stakes. So like, yeah, people are starting to see like you don't have to do the norm. Like you can break off and do your own thing. So that's pretty cool.
right.
Cause you mentioned the Japanese tournament, like Beat Tribe Cup happens for Virtua Fighter. It's like a huge tournament, and it's a game like nobody sees throughout the year. So like, hopefully something like that can get happen here. Like people have tried and it hasn't quite stuck yet, but I feel like just the atmosphere of today's FGC, you can kind of do that because like a SNES Sailor Moon game has become a staple at majors. Who would have thought something like that would happen? If that can happen at this point, you can revive anything.
Yeah, is New York goes so hard for the Sailor Moon game. Went back see that. That was Owls. Owls, I think he's always playing that game. And
Yeah,
Ava, I see her play it a lot too. I talk about it.
there's a lot of people who just like love it. It's like all you gotta really do, and someone told me this. It's like all you really gotta do is put the game out there and show that it's fun. You don't gotta do
Right.
anything fancy. So like if you like your game, go out and on your Twitter and put out clips of it. Hype moments, and then people go, "What is this game?" And you roll out, you pull out your cards. Okay, here we go. You go through
Yeah,
your spiel.
build up the hype for it. Like dodge all the negativity for the game, because obviously people are like, "Oh, that game's already has all bugs and stuff. Don't play it." Dodge all that and just put out all the hype moments, all the like and then bring out that tournament. Build it up. Like just like how tournament. What was it? The other Marvel 2 tournament that's in New York with tournament. It's like Tournament of Power or something like
It's
that.
a battle of the strongest, I think.
Battle of the Strongest. That I don't even play Marvel 2,
Hmm.
but that makes me wish I played Marvel 2. It's so cool, man, watching that every year, man. Big ups to Yipes and Chris Matrix for that, man. I really love that tournament.
Yeah, it's like it's just that concept. Like if you put it out there, there's people out there want to play it. And it's not going to be
Right,
easy for every game, obviously. In some games, they're probably, no matter how much you pick up, they're not going to pick up that much steam. But you might find, the dedicated core people you can play with.
all right.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's hard because you have you have so many new options of games these days. That's the part that dwarfs the small games, right? So
Yeah,
many new options.
for sure, for sure. There's a lot. Like no matter what you want, there's something out there. Whether it's something old, something relatively new, or something that's about to come out. So speaking of new games, actually, given Grand Blue just dropped into North America and it's been out only 4 months. So even then, it hasn't been out that long. That's something I want to just kind of roll into. I'm kind of forcing this segue, but we're gonna do it.
No, go
So
just go straight into it.
yeah, so
Me, I just jump into it.
but so I imagine there's a lot of people who are probably gonna switch to Grand Blue, even if whether it's for a month, a year, or forever.
Yeah.
What I want to ask you, and I'm gonna give my piece on this, is when you pick up a brand new game, like
hmm
you've never played this before, you might have seen a trailer too, but you don't really know what's involved in it. What do you do?
I get attached to the typical things I've always liked as like a kid. Like, oh, cool combos. Aesthetics are cool. That's like a bonus for me. But mostly like the cool combos, how the system works, and just like overall. And the biggest thing for me is character variety. That's huge for me because growing up, I've always was interested in like big rosters. Like I I've played a lot of Marvel 2 growing up, a lot of MK games. Believe it or not, I had a lot of MK games growing up. So like I really like games where they have like a variety of characters. But most important, like I said, like combos just stick out to me, and then even though though Grand Blue is not like a combo heavy game, they have their characters for like, all right, cool. Here's a cool combo, get it done. So like, I'm interested in stuff like that. The mechanics, I guess they're interesting to me. I like the cooldowns. Um, it is what it is. I like seeing different things, different approaches for different fighting games.
Okay. I guess
So,
more specifically though, like say
mhm.
someone plopped Grand Blue in your lap and you're like, I gotta play this next week. How do you get into playing shape from a game you don't know?
I just go straight into playing somebody like arcade style. I'm
Okay.
not even gonna lie because I have an old school mentality because I used to like go to the arcades every now and then when I was young. So it was learning characters on the spot is like my favorite thing.
Okay. Okay. And it's funny because I'll come back to that because you reminded me of another story. But yeah, like I was thinking about this. I was like, I see a lot of people, especially the newer guys, like, I've come from BB Tag. How am I supposed to learn, Grand Blue? Or I came from, Guilty Gear. How am I supposed to learn Street Fighter 5? Or whatever the case, right? And I was
Hmm.
thinking, like, a lot of people don't know how to learn. And I think that's the big thing you could take from fighting game, even if they have no real relation in mechanics, is like how to break it down and learn it. And I was just thinking about
Hmm.
what my process was. And I realized I'm a huge nerd. So I sit down with the system and I was like, what happens when you walk, jump, backdash, what's the recovery? And I'm just like writing a bunch of notes, like, cause I'm just a huge nerd. And then I go through the characters, and I realize when I do not do this for a game, I feel so uncomfortable for a long time that I have to
Hmm.
like pick apart each character. Like, this move looks like this, and it hits around here, and it has this property, da 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 da. Because I did that for Sam Show, and I feel so comfortable with it. Like even when I don't practice, I feel like I can still keep up with it. As opposed to Guilty Gear, that took me a long time because I kind of just jumped in, and I
Right.
realized that everyone kind of operates differently, and I'm just like
Right.
I'm the nerd who has to break it down. And I was talking to who FGC Jesus is, right?
Yeah.
The Fong player. So we were at the Augusta tournament, and he's like, I've never been in training mode, right? Or he goes, whenever I go in there, I get so bored that it just drives me up the wall, and I got to get out of there. I gotta go play people.
Mm.
When I get an idea, I gotta get in there. And I sat there and thought about it. I'm like, I can never do that. Like I can never do that. Like so
It,
I would just be overwhelmed. But it's like to him, it's like the most natural thing in the world to learn something. I was like, and it just got me thinking.
that's what's funny is because usually there are people that do one or the other. There will go and they can learn like me, like play on the spot and learn. But then there are scientists they have to go in the lab and learn. But I've always done like both, and I guess because like I guess it's the anthropologist in me, where I'll go out in the field and find new things, and then I'll go and I'm like, this works, that doesn't work, and then I'll go and that's when I'll go to like the training mode or lab or whatever, and just figure it out even more and see why something works the way it works.
Yeah.
And if I don't have answers, ask questions around.
Okay. I'll say like
And
in the ideal world, that definitely sounds like what you want to do, and I think strong players can do it that way.
it's funny because like you said, everybody operates differently, right?
Hmm.
But on a fundamental level, when you're learning anything, not just fighting games, anything, that always like was is like I guess basic, the most bare bone basic way to learn something is getting hit by it right on the spot, and you're like, whoa, you got shook there, and then you figure it out. All right, cool. Now you know why. You go back to the lab and you figure out why it works. Um, but yeah, it's very interesting how people can't actually operate in a match. They have to use training mode or the other right away. I always thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it's just like with me. Like once I learn it, then I can go and start trying a bunch of new things. But I need the base to start with, and then I can go a
yeah,
little while. But I can't do it without a basis. But some people can, and I get that. And I I actually had another thought. Yeah. So all like those anime, those TV shows. The people die, and then they come back at a starting point over and over again. Like you got ReZero, and if you've seen Groundhog Day with Bill Murray, that concept. And I was just thinking like in life, if you really want to learn crazy stuff, like it's dangerous, right? If you want to, like, I want to go trek across, Africa, so it's all kinds of wildlife,
Right,
plant life. You don't know what you're gonna run into, and if you die, that's it. But
right.
but in those movies, when they die, they can learn, like, oh, that snake is poisonous, oh, that's poisonous, or that's edible, that is so and so. And I thought about it. A fighting game is like that, where you can die as many times as you like, in the worst and most crazy ways possible, and you can just reset back to the beginning of the match over and over again with the knowledge you have from your previous life. I feel like if you can frame fighting games like that, you can do a lot.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that because when I first was learning fighting games, one of the things that I was parallel to, like, I guess to that same analogy was to life was when a start and a finish of a round. Uh, you was a guy once said, I can't remember who in FGC said it, but you'll notice players what they get hit by last, they will remember that more than anything in a match, how they died in a match, and that registers in their brain more than anything. And same goes for like starting a round,
Yeah.
and it's it, and that's where, like, I think that's interesting. Like, you can help new players start from like learning that way. It's like you ask them, because even Marty, when I first met him, and I was happy he was, when one of the questions he would ask players this, he was like, "How did you, like, what was the last hit did you get hit by or something like that?" And I was surprised I don't see more people ask that question. But yeah, it's seeing that happen in a match and then like having it registered, and then you're like, "Whoa, that happened to me. I need to do something about it." Because that's like when you fail at something in life, it's the last thing that, no matter how like it happened, like leading up to it, the fact that you failed it and the last thing you did with leading up to it failed hurts the most. That last thing you did hurts
Hmm.
the most. Or
Hmm.
the first thing, like I said, which is because you're like, wait a minute, I shouldn't even gotten involved with that in the first place. So that's the parallels I see, and it's crazy how, like, that's why I was like, it's crazy how you mentioned that, because that's when I was coming to FGC, that was the first thing that like came to my mind.
Yes.
So that's what I try to help new players out with. I'll ask them, "Do you remember what you got hit by last, or what you got hit by first?"
And then you find out, like, cause Dogi Samus used to do that when I first started going over there trying to get better to his house. He'd be
Right.
like he'd be like like he'd see a reversal on the side of the screen. He'd be like, "What did you do there?" And I'd be like, "You know what? I don't even remember." And he kind of make mental notes, and he would ask me stuff like that. He's like, "So what were you trying there?" And I'm like, "I don't know." He's like, and then if I did remember something and I did something that was completely silly, he would just stop. And he wouldn't judge me. He would just be like, "What was your logic behind that?" And then a lot of
Yeah.
times I feel like I didn't have any. And that's what kind of really got me thinking, like, what made me start thinking about all my decisions I made. But before then, I just kind of did them.
Yeah.
And then
If you,
go ahead.
I was about to say, yeah, if you ask even intermediate players, if you ask them did in the middle of a match, they'll have a hard time recalling some situations
Hmm.
because they're so zoned in, or they're not really paying attention to like little things too much. Like they're just so zoned in, and the spectators see all of it, they don't catch it. But if you tell them what happened in the beginning or the end of the match, they'll have an answer for you right there, and you can build from that because now they're like, okay, say for instance, I lost to a jump in, so
Yeah.
now I'm looking for anti-airs, not just at the end of the match, but now I'm looking for them like probably like more so in the match in general. So now I have that in my pocket. Now I don't lose to an anti-air, or they didn't start off hitting me with an anti-air. I lose to something else. So then it starts to build from there, right? And it just keeps
Yeah.
building.
Yeah. It's just funny how it all works. It's like once you realize that there's no real world consequences to getting beat up, so to speak. You can just
Yep.
find new and interesting ways. That's the end of, like I mentioned, Togi said. That's the kind of other thing he always would tell me. He's like, what you need to do when you sit down and play a fighting game is try to find new and interesting ways to lose. And I said that, and I
Yeah.
never got it at
Well,
first, and then but like eventually it dawned on me what he really meant.
there was a player actually at 404, Johnny, when I was playing him.
Hmm.
After we got done, we were talking, we chopped it up, and giving each other tips and everything. And he's like, you know what's interesting about like you like you're good at like rotating, pretty much rotating your options. And he was like, you're really like good at like actually throwing people too. And I was like, yeah, it's because my first answer was like, all right, well, in terms of throwing, if I play Goichi, I have to make sure I have my throws on point.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason why I throw people off with like throws and every other thing is because when I play a character, I look at all I if they have one button, you can give me one button. I want to see what I can do. How far can I take that one button and explore it in ways that most players won't think of exploiting it. And yeah, and that's like my take on it. And he was like, huh. And I was like, yeah, it's just like because I want people to think like to keep thinking when they play me. Because when I first got into the scene, I didn't really care too much competitively. I just like happy go lucky.
Yeah, yeah.
What made me got real serious was one time when somebody was playing me and they weren't even concentrating like on the match and they were still beating me really bad. They're having a full blown argument with somebody else while they're
The classic.
yeah, and I was like so salty that they weren't paying attention to me. I was like, I got to do something about this. So then from that day forward, I was like, all right, make sure whenever I play, not just on defense, but like just in general, and when I play fighting games, make sure I just like rotate my options over and over again. Sometimes people just have the read on me and they just know when I'm gonna go, or they like OS me to death or something like that. But that's when like semantics comes in and stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah, I get you. I get you. Oh
yeah.
man.
So yeah, it's crazy like how fighting games can there's a lot to life in fighting games, like when I moved to California, I learned so much about myself. Just like interacting with a different like from people from like other side of the country, and they're like much more different than the people of the south. I kind of knew already,
Yeah.
but like actually experiencing it, it's like whoa. I was like hearing like like the good and the bad things that they say about the South, and then I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Like I've heard it before, but like to actually hear them say it, it's like, whoa, that's cool or that's bad. They actually said that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's I learned so much about like myself and like in living in California and that's another thing too. Like location is a huge thing with anything you do, but like in
Yeah.
fighting games,
Definitely.
if because I was talking to Hong earlier and how like when I first was playing Street Fighter 4, I had a group of friends that I play a lot of fighting games with. And main game we played was like Street Fighter 4 and whatnot. Excuse me. And I didn't know really about like stuff like save jumps till like Street Fighter 4 was like done. Like, and I didn't know too much about crouch tech
Yeah.
until like Street Fighter 4 was like done and like it was moving on to something else. And I was so like I look back at hindsight. I look back at it. I'm like, man, I'm upset. I wish I would have known this stuff because I probably would have like looked at the game totally different. I still like the game to this
Yeah.
day, but like I can't really go back to it, because I didn't know the system. Street Fighter is known for like being basic and bare bones. But like when you're at when you start to see such high level stuff, and you finally start to get it tossed down to you, you're like, wait a minute, this is now I see why the beauty of Street Fighter players like they love their game. You see that because it's more than just being quote unquote Street Fighter basic bare bone, Hadouken. It's
Yeah.
way more than that, and I think that's why what people don't give enough credit to like just any fighting game. We always downplay every fighting. It's like, oh, that game is too basic, or oh, that game is too hard. It's like, in my honest opinion, just as my opinion, I think simply because we're in a fighting game community, everything is complicated and complex or whatever.
Okay.
Like because we're like we're doing it, we're making it that way for us as competitive players. We have to make it that way. If a simple game stays simple in the community, we are doing something wrong. Like we are not doing enough to like make that game complicated because that's where the competition like what competition does.
Okay,
So,
it's an interesting
but
perspective.
yeah, that just to in closing on that, like learning, like coming from like getting going from one big like location to like a bigger scene with more people to play broadens your horizon. You get to understand like how everything just works in general, and it's just like life. If all you eat is your mother's like favorite food, you're gonna think, oh man, my mom makes the best food. No offense to mothers out there, I know y'all make the best food,
Nah, I definitely feel
but
you.
there are definitely like people who put their lives on the line, like chefs and stuff, to like actually like make you healthy food, and they actually like research just to make sure like everything is going correct and like and it's great food. So yeah,
There's more stuff out there than you know, but you gotta believe
yeah,
it's out there.
mm-hmm.
So
Uh,
I definitely get you.
you wouldn't know until you actually go look though. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of because like that analogy you made me think. There's a lot of close mindedness when it comes to the games. Like even
Mm-hmm.
whether and it doesn't matter what the perspective is. Like whether you're just like I've seen that game and that looks cheap. Da 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 da. It's close mindedness because you don't really know what goes into that. And then there's also the people who are trying to get good, and you tell them
Mm-hmm.
like you need to put this and this in your game. I don't need to do that, or I tried it and it didn't work. There's constant close mindedness and a lot of people shut themselves off from their own potential. That's what makes it sad. Because it's like I look at a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people, I'm like, this guy could be really good. This guy or gal could be really good, but they're so fixated on what they already think being right that they never even
Right.
consider all the stuff that's holding them back. And I just see them lose to people who are like, they don't work half as, they don't even work half as hard as you. They don't think about the game as much as you do, but you have all the right stuff, but then you start limiting yourself mentally by
Mm-hmm.
your own beliefs. Like I can't do combos because I'm just not good at them, or I can't be good at this game because X, Y, and Z. And then it's
Yep.
just self-limiting.
Yep. Yep. You see that with some players where they're like in casuals that awesome, or they'll just play a certain matchup, right? For example, they'll play a certain matchup and they feel like they know it to the T, but then when they go play a different player with a totally different style, they end up losing really badly. Now you have some players that actually know how to handle that correctly because they know how to start themselves from scratch. And like, okay, I'm fighting this player, but he's also playing this character, and they can only do so much with this character.
Yeah, that's the funny thing you mentioned that because like that's the other thing people don't really believe is like even if say Daigo's the best for you, and then you got a headband 57 at your local who just like DPS. At the end of the day, neither one of those guys, Daigo or headband man, can make
Hmm.
Ryu do anything that the game won't allow him to.
Yeah,
So if you know everything that Ryu is capable of, you can literally fight any Ryu. You just have to get your skill level up there.
yeah. That's pretty much the whole point of Street Fighter too. Like
Basically.
they based characters around the beat Ryu. I think Capcom has said that before. Like they base these characters because they don't want just Ryu the fighting game. That would be like boring.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's really true for any character. Really, that's just an easy example. But it's like if you know what the
Hmm.
character can do, then you know what the person can potentially do. Like the he's not gonna put in a USB into the system and then give you two extra special moves.
Becomes Rainbow Edition.
Yeah, it's like
You
yo,
fight this player.
I bet you didn't know that Ryu had an SPD. My Ryu has an SPD, so you ain't ready for the match.
Throw loops, SPD throw loops.
But yeah, it's like as long as can if you know everything, and then at that point you just start filling things in with experience, and then you get your decision making up. But
Yep.
but like a lot of people's frustration comes from self limiting beliefs, or they don't know enough about their game.
Yeah. Just go out and play players that like play totally different than you. No, it's okay if they quote unquote play like the nut. Uh,
Yeah,
I like what the way Smash players say it. They were like, he's very ambitious or she's very ambitious. I really like that because
I like that.
it's not taking away us. It's like pretty much saying they have a skill that's there. They just haven't mastered it yet. It's That's kind of like a way of saying that. So they're not like discrediting the players. So yeah, but yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Just go to your locals, and travel if you can, not just to your locals, but like to different areas. You know,
Yeah,
you may find something very interesting about like not just the players there, but also yourself.
For sure. Like if you do find yourself at a big tournament, don't be afraid to sit down and just play strangers. You ain't got to play the best players. Just play people you've never met before, and that in itself will help you a lot.
Yep.
But that's all I got to say for tonight. What about you, man?
Oh man, that's it. Like I said, shout outs to Four. They're very welcoming. If you guys are ever in town in TA, we have like plenty of locals, man. And 4-4 is the new popping one, and it's I forgot the exact location. I could probably post it in the link.
I'll put all the information on 4-4 in the description. So
Yeah,
if you're interested in you're in the Atlanta area region, or you're gonna come down for final round and you want to check it out, check the description and you can get the social media and other things you need to know.
yeah, man. Show Greg and those guys some love, man, 'cause they put in the.
For sure. Yeah. If there's nothing else to be said, this is Coach signing off.
Yep, it's Casey. Peace.
All right. Peace.